Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your host, Max from Winged Octopus, and we are finally bringing you back our podcast. It's been on hiatus since I returned from the desert and I went to the moon and I came back from the moon and the desert, and the moon is made out of cheese. But anyway, we are back. This is our first episode of our podcast, and we're glad to have it back with us. With me tonight is Tyler up in Boston. Travis sadly could not make it. Travis had the boyfriend duties to take care of, which we're okay with that. But Tyler up in Boston, I know he's been shoveling for the past 2 days, trying to dig himself out of that winter storm. Stella! Tyler, glad you could make it. I hope you didn't pull your back. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. I actually have a snowblower, so no problems there. And actually, my dad was kind enough to volunteer to do that, even though I told him, hey, Dad, I'll do that. And he's like, no, I got this. So I didn't have to do much but shovel the stairs and a few other things. So not too bad.
There we go.
But it's very cold.
You heard it here, folks. Tyler let his dad do all the heavy lifting. Go get them. All right. Before we start off tonight, we want to quickly shout out our sponsors. First one is worldwidestubs.com. You can go there to purchase any tickets if you're looking for sporting events, concert, and any other events. The promo code is bar down for select % off any purchase for limited time. Promo code bar down at worldwidestubs.com. Second, our next sponsor, of course, is Original Sticks, which they make cell phone cases out of recycled composite hockey sticks. And as everyone has known for quite a while now, they have partnered with our own Danny DeKaiser on a clothing line. You can follow Original Sticks on Twitter at Original Sticks with an X. And then lastly, good friends of ours is at Twitter at the Dojo Detroit. We're trying to make it called the Dojo since it's Little Caesars Arena. It's a great name. It's a really funny nickname for it, and can get your hot and readies. You can also get sweet ass apparel from them on their website off dojodetroit.com. So make sure you give them a follow on Twitter. And without further ado, we're going to get right into this. Changing it up a little bit, we're really going to cover only 3 main subjects here tonight. We really didn't get any questions, which we're okay with that. We're mostly, testing this one out, pilot episode of the podcast to bring it back. But here we go. No questions. So you get to hear me and Tyler ramble on for a good 20, 25 minutes. And if Tyler gets out of hand, I will mute him. And then I'll sing to you guys my beautiful Flex the Golden Pipes for you all. But all right. First topic, Jeff Blashill, biggest question mark probably right now besides good old Ken Holland. But as we know, Jeff Blashill was an assistant way back when Babcock was here for 1 year. They sent him down to Grand Rapids to basically instead of the players grow, let the coach grow, because at one point he was going to be the heir apparent once Babcock left. Babcock leaves. Blashill takes over last year. The team didn't make the playoffs. The team got help to make the playoffs last year. Thanks for Tuukka Rask having the runs or something, not sure. But Boston got lit up that game while we were in New York, and we squeaked in. And then, of course, Tampa Bay once again smacks us around. Coming into this year, second year, growing pains all around. But, right now, Blashill has to be at least questioning if he will have a job, or will he be behind the bench at that new arena at the Dojo coming this fall, because right now, some of his decisions coaching wise have just been atrocious, and can't really defend him anymore. I know Tyler's a very, very tar and feather him and ship him off to Siberia with Jonathan Ericsson. So I'm going to go with Tyler here, what his thoughts are, and then I will counter whatever he says, sadly, as devil's advocate, or I will agree with him on some things here and there. So, Tyler, your favorite thing to start is like a civil war within the group. Jeff Blashill, it's all yours.
Well, I've been on this record saying that I don't think Jeff Blashill is a horrible coach, but I don't think he's the right coach for this franchise. I've said before that I think that the Red Wings are a marquee Original Six franchise, and those six franchises deserve to have, elite coaches. And if they're not elite coaches, they better be pretty damn good. Jeff Blashill is not that. I think at the end of the year, you're going to see some things come out that says, you know what, the Red Wings are going to take a look at their head coaching job, and Jeff Blashill's job may be on the line, either moving into next year or, at the end of this year, and they may just fire him outright after they miss the playoffs. Do I think he should go? I don't think it's all on him, but I think that I've seen enough where I don't think this guy's going to be a great coach. Now, if I'm wrong, I will admit that I was wrong. But I don't think this guy's going to be a very great coach or a very good coach in this league. And I definitely don't think he's going to be a great coach here in Detroit. So I think the Red Wings should move on from him. I think that he's not learned from his first year mistakes, and that's the biggest thing, Max. That's the biggest thing. He has not learned from what he did wrong last year. He has not learned this year. I mean, how many games has Kuro played this year? Ever since Howard got hurt, not very many. He was riding Mrazek down the stretch. The same thing that he did last year between, I believe it was December and like February. So, Max, my question to you is, has he learned from his mistakes?
I mean, he hasn't learned from his mistakes because, I mean, let's see, he benched Mantha for, okay, yeah, send a message, whatever. But the only thing I'm going to say to really that it's not all on Blashill is he's not the one on the ice, making the plays, scoring the goals, making the passes, defending the rush, even though we don't defend the rush whatsoever. It is on some of these players, but I mean, I do have to agree with you that he hasn't learned anything at all this year, or he has learned something, but I mean, there's just more growing pains and more lessons to learn. I'm just now pondering, will he make it to next year behind the bench? Because the only other thing that I have to find fault with him is he's coached about, I think, 7 of these players total. My numbers could be wrong, but probably at least 7 players that he had down in Grand Rapids when they won the Calder Cup. And, he should know these guys and know how to, work it. Don't get me wrong. I understand the AHL and the NHL are 2 different animals, but when you have prospects that go down to the AHL that come to the NHL, you're basically prepping them to come play in the NHL. And right now, I think the only player that at least, is NHL worthy right now is Mrazek that, was under Blashill. I mean, Yurko's gone. Riley Sheehan is so voodoo snake bitten right now. I don't even want to talk about poor Riley Sheehan. Tatar Nyquist, not really sure what we're going to get. I mean, we all thought it was Euro Twins 2.0, not even close.
Not even close.
I'm trying to think if any of the defensemen, maybe Marchenko was down there.
Sproul was there. Marchenko was there. XO was there.
So Sproul, I mean, poor guy. I mean, can't catch a break. Now he's out the rest of the year. XO has actually performed very well.
Jensen.
So I'll give him 2 players. I'm not really sure about Jensen.
Jensen was there. Yeah, he was.
You sure?
I believe he was there. I'm not sure that he was on the Calder Cup winning team, but he was there at one point with Blashill, I believe.
Okay. Well, then there you go. I mean, I feel. I mean, granted, there are a lot of issues with this team. I mean, coaching is just one of them. I mean, I'm not putting it all on Blashill, but I mean, I'll go with this. If the Wings stick with him, he's got to realize it's going to be 3, 4, 5 years before his system and the players that I guess he wants are actually incorporated, because there'll be another roster turnover here in the next 2 years where Zetterberg's gone, Kronwall's gone, Howard will probably be gone. Abdicator will be like your leading veteran in the locker room, and hopefully, Larkin, Double A, and Mantha are, in their primes, and the back end looks, relatively healthy, because boy, do we miss the days where, defense was the least part of our concern. It'll be very interesting, because I mean, if they do fire him, who do you go get that's gonna motivate these young guys? And I mean, you're not gonna rebuild it's not gonna speed up the process, but it would be interesting to see who they would go get. I mean, Maybe you go get Gerald Gallant. I mean, that's the only guy I could think of that's available really.
Well, yeah,
Depending on who
Gerard
gets
Gallant
hired.
would be a good fit, I think. But I do think that now I don't know how you feel about this, and I do realize that we're up against it kind of, and we do have to move on. But I don't know how you feel about the fact that these players were productive under Babcock, or some of them were productive under Babcock, didn't like the way Mike Babcock was the coach, and said they wanted a new voice. And now when the new voice is here, they've disappeared. Their production's dropped off. I'm talking Nyquist. I'm talking Tatar. I'm talking Riley Sheehan a little bit as well. Um, so my question is, where do you go? Is it a more punchy coach, or is it going to be a coach that's going to be relaxed like Blashill? Because I think if you're going to bring someone in here, it's going to have to be a John Tortorella kind of mentality. Like, this is my show. I'm going to run this the way I want to run this because this is what you players need. Just your thoughts on that real quick.
I don't know. To talk. Let's look at it this way. Blashill looks to be more laid back because Babcock would scream and yell and he wanted to get Tatar the most out of Tatar, and I know I keep going back to him, but that's just the prime example. Under Babcock, Tatar had a fire under his ass. Granted, he has heated up. Well, ever since he got paired with Zetterberg, but Zetterberg's not going to be around forever. Shoot.
Definitely not.
We can't. We were spoiled with Pavel Datsyuk, and when Zetterberg leaves, and I don't understand how some fans don't think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame or have that 40 retired. It should be, and he'll be Hall of Famer, no worries. But it's just sickening to I was just chatting with my dad earlier to get this point out there. This playoff streak probably could have ended 2 or 3 years earlier because basically they were riding Jimmy Howard when he was hot, Pavs and Z. That was it.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're right.
That was if any of those three were seriously injured, all three of them were out at some point, the streak probably ends 2 or 3 years ago.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that statement. The last time that they were really a threat, a lot of people like to say the last
lockout year.
No, but a lot of people like to say the last year under Babcock, if they lost to Tampa Bay, if they would have beaten Tampa Bay in 7 games, they would have had an opportunity to, go farther in the playoffs, which is true. But I still think the Stanley Cup contender team the last Stanley Cup contender they had was the lockout year. And if they would have had Danny DeKeyser, now, we all know how Danny DeKeyser has turned out this season. But if they had Danny DeKeyser and they didn't lose him in that Anaheim series, they may have beaten the Hawks, and they might have even beaten LA and Boston. So
yep, it's an interesting thing, but I would agree with you. It would have been interesting to see who they would have played after Tampa because that year I think the East was scary.
They were.
So it would have been interesting to see how far they could have gone. But I truly believe, if they would have had DeKeyser, I'm pretty sure they could have beaten the Blackhawks. The Kings series would have been brutal. It would have been interesting. But the only other thing I have really quick to bounce off of that is, just really quick about, goalie wise and all that. Every of these people that hate on Jimmy so much and, praise Mrazek to no end. Just remember, Mrazek has not won a playoff series on his own yet. Jimmy has done that. So just heads up there. And I'm not saying anything wrong. I think, at one point Mrazek will be this guy between the pipes. But lately I just don't see it, or if it's the biggest sophomore slump year ever, because past 5 games, just Mrazek stats, 3 or more goals, not going to cut it.
Definitely not. No, definitely not.
Not if you're going to get paid, the big boy money.
I definitely agree with that.
People who hate on Jimmy for his contract, it's not like Jimmy planned to get hurt lately. Ever since he signed that deal, and then he was named an all-star in that Washington game, and then he destroyed his groin probably to no end because that was just disturbing to watch.
Yeah, that was bad.
He doesn't deserve any hate. But anyway, we're gonna move on really quick before we get onto it. This is gonna be a next fun topic since I brought it up here a little bit when we were talking about Blashill. Anthony Mantha getting benched. I'm gonna go off on this one really quick, then I'll let Tyler get in here. But man, Jeff Blashill must be smoking something because Anthony Mantha, ever since being called up and paired with Zetterberg and Tatar and Nyquist and Zetterberg since I don't know why he keeps switching Nyquist and Tatar. But anyway, Anthony Mantha is probably going to be, I'm hoping, better and improve, Franzen 2.0, but, scores consistently because the kid is big, the kid's got a shot, and the kid can skate. But, man, I understand trying to teach him, like, in the NHL, you got to play a 200-foot game. I understand that completely. But if you're going to bench him, who's probably been one of your best players since you called him up for 2 games, for no offense, for Mitch Callahan should have been playing. Like, Drew Miller should have been rotated out, or heaven forbid, Riley Sheehan should have been rotated out to keep Mantha in the lineup, to keep him playing, because the only way these kids are going to get experience is to play. Like, poor Ryan Sproul is a prime example. Man, that kid sat, I don't know how long. Then he gets to play 1 game. Then he hurts himself. Gets hurt. He had probably the worst game you could possibly think about for coming back, from sitting in the press box for so long. I mean, that team, I forgot what team that game that was, but boy, they ate up Ryan Sproul.
That was Ottawa.
Is that when he got upended in the bench?
I believe it was Ottawa, Columbus, or something like that. I forget exactly what team it was.
But you know what I'm talking about, though. Like, this poor kid had no luck whatsoever. So, I mean, benching young kids when you're not playing for anything, the Wings are mathematically eliminated, especially if they lose tonight. Like, it's over. Like, there's no hope. I didn't want them to make it anyway. I want them to evaluate the talent, see what they have. Yeah, so I mean, I mean, if you think that this team is going to pull a Stanley Cup out of their butt as they are right now, you're crazy. Like, pass on whatever you're giving us. You're huffing because, man, I would love it right now. But it helped take out the pain in my knee. But anyway, so Tyler, I'm going to throw this question at you. When you have young players, Larkin, AA, Mantha, would you bench them to teach them a lesson, or would you let them learn it while playing and gain the experience and just move on?
Okay, so just to answer your question, it depends on what they do. If it's for a lack of effort and they're not playing defense, or they're, in Larkin's case, he's circling around pucks instead of stopping on pucks, like Blasha likes to say. I mean, I guess I'm okay with it. In Mantha's case, I got to be honest with you. In that case, I would have benched Larkin. And I get a lot of people are going to give me crap for this, but you know what? I was at that game against the Bruins. Dylan Larkin quit. So did Anthony Mantha. The only one out of those 3 triplets, for lack of a better term, is Andreas Athanasiou was firing on all cylinders, and he's supposed to be the one that is supposed to be the lazy one out of the 3. A lot of people like to call him the lazy one, and in juniors, that was his a little bit of his reputation of being a little bit of a lazier defensive player. He played good in that game. Anthony Mantha and Dylan Larkin, for all intents and purposes, sucked in that game. They sucked, both of them. They were terrible. And Jeff Blashill's going to sit there and tell you that he thought that line was good. That line was invisible out there against the Bruins. But to get back to your question, it's imperative for these guys when there's unimportant games, or games that literally mean nothing, like these games that they're playing right now. You have to give these guys ice time. You have to give Dylan Larkin ice time, Andreas Athanasiou, and Anthony Mantha. Now, if you're gonna bench them, just remember there's repercussions of that. Okay, in the summertime, oh look, he didn't get enough reps last year, and so you're taking away from his development a little bit. But I guess you're teaching him something, so it's different. I guess in both ways it's different. It really depends on the situation, I guess, is the best way to say that.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, they're not playing for anything this year. They're playing for a better draft positioning. Let's be honest. I mean, it's over. It's been over for a while. I'm kind of glad. It's just the number, honestly, because like you said, the last year we both kind of agreed. The last year they were actually like a threat. Was the lockout year. But yeah, I mean, long time coming. We've been spoiled. We were spoiled with Yzerman, Shanahan, Fedorov. We were spoiled with Lindstrom, Murphy, Rafalski, Cronwall, and Stewart back in the day. Now with Datsuk Zetterberg, we were spoiled in net with Ozzy and Howard, and hopefully we'll be spoiled with Mrazek down the road. But I mean, right now, let the kids play. Shoot, let them learn. Let them learn from their mistakes. Yeah, granted, if they are being lazy, then yeah, you sit them a game. But I mean, to sit them against the Rangers, I mean, granted, I mean, we got smoked that game no matter what. But to sit them against the Rangers, I mean, come on.
That just sends a
That
message
was
of, are we
that
like
was
what does it send a message of though? Are we
we're
tanking?
tanking. We're
Yeah,
tanking.
basically, right?
We're tanking.
So
We're tanking, but I mean, like, just come on. I mean, I don't get him, or I just don't understand it really. I mean, we're not in the locker room. I mean, if we were in the locker room, it would just make life so much more easier. Then we could figure this out and bring it to you guys.
but here's the other question for you though.
Okay.
If you're gonna bench Anthony Mantha, why don't you bench a guy like Dylan Larkin? What, just because his name's Dylan Larkin and he's played so good this year? He has not played good this year. I mean, obviously, he's been battling through things, and it's a sophomore slump and everything. But why is it okay to bench Anthony Mantha, but it's not okay to bench Dylan Larkin? Like, I don't get that. I don't understand that. What, because he's the golden child?
If you're asking me, dude, shoot, man. If I had a lottery ticket, I'd probably tell you those numbers and why they don't bench him.
Man,
I mean, I think it is a little bit the name. I really do think it's a little bit of the name, and he was an all-star his rookie year. I mean, sadly, Mantha, won't be one till maybe next year. But I mean, I think it's more the name, because I think, and maybe also they're trying to make sure Mantha doesn't fall back down to bad habits, because I told you back in October when he didn't make the team and all that, and I went to a Checkers game. And I was super excited to see him. And boy, I mean, he could shoot the puck because he scored like 2 goals and it was amazing. But boy, he don't know how to back check worth shit. He just gave up on plays and went for line change. He went off the ice for a line change. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You got to play defense. I mean, granted, maybe he was a little upset that he didn't make the team to begin with. But I mean, you got to try and make sure the bad habits don't happen, because I mean, you don't want to, just be one dimensional. I mean, look what Ovechkin was back in the day to what he is now, and I would take right now Ovechkin over back in the day Ovechkin.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
That's the best player to look at it. I mean, Mantha is going to be like no Ovechkin. I mean, that's just 2 different, generations of talents. Players, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's the best example, though. I mean, today's Ovechkin. I mean, I would take today's Ovechkin just minus some years. So he's like a little bit younger in the body and all that. But I mean, I take today's Ovechkin over, earlier Ovechkin, whereas,
60 goal Ovechkin. Yeah.
The race to the 60. Okay. So we've talked about Mantha. We talked about Blashill. Now for the fun part, since we are mathematically eliminated. So this is going to be the first time where we'll be racing to the golf course in April right away. Playoff matchups. This is interesting. Really quick update. If the playoffs started today, we're going to start on the West. We got Hawks in first. They're going to take on the Blues, second wild card. Then we got Wild and Predators. But the Wild are right behind the Hawks. I think Nashville's not too far behind. So, I mean, they're right there, Tyler, in my opinion. Those are great 4 matchups no matter what. I would probably just flip Nashville so they could get the number 1 seed. But anyway, that's all basically.
Oh, no, Nashville's only got 79 points.
I mean, not Nashville. I'm sorry, the Wild. Flip the Wild with the Hawks. But I mean, the Hawks and Blues, you can't argue about that first round.
Can't argue with that. Yeah, no, that's a good first round.
Nashville Wild, you can't argue with that either. So, like, right there, the Central looks great. I love it. You go to the Pacific, you got Sharks as the top seed. They take on, can you believe it, your McJesus carried the team to the playoffs. Edmonton returns to the playoffs since, I would believe, 06, where
06, when they went to the
lost
Cup
to Carolina. Yep, in 06. So Edmonton returns to the playoffs, and then you got Ducks in Calgary. I'm actually okay with this. I mean, I'm not gonna. Everyone's probably gonna hate me for this. I am a little Ducks fan. I'm not gonna lie. I love the Ducks. I mean, they're back in my day. They're the Mighty Ducks. Those jerseys, man, those are sick. I love those faces on the jerseys. But really quick, Kings are only 4 points out. I think Winnipeg has fallen too far behind, so I think it's really just going to become Edmonton, St. Louis, and possibly the Kings if they get hot.
It's really a race. It's really a race of Edmonton, St. Louis, and LA for the wild card spot.
Well, here's the other thing, though. Edmonton's only 1 point behind Calgary for the second, or the third seed. So I mean, you could get Edmonton Ducks
That would
I
be a
think the
good
Sharks have pretty much almost locked up the top card, though. They're too far ahead, I
pretty
think, for the
much.
Ducks to catch up. But I mean, it would be looking good in out west. Like I can't fault any of those playoff matchups. If they started today or
No, the
tomorrow
worst
or
one would
whatever.
be Ducks and Flames probably out of the
Yeah, I
four
think
there.
I think out of all four matchups for first round, that would probably be the least favorited to watch.
I'll tell you what, I'd be
I
very
would be
intrigued by
interested to
the
see Sharks in Edmonton. I mean, do the
the
Sharks want to go back and get a cup? I mean, that would be cool to see Thornton and Marlowe. I mean, I know they were Red Wing killers, but that would be awesome to see.
man. Think about this too: the Sharks against the Oilers. Guess who's on the bench for the Edmonton Oilers? Todd McClellan,
Oh my God, yeah,
the
former
former San
coach.
Jose
Oh my
coach.
gosh,
Yeah.
that would be
So
hilarious.
that'd be a little bit of a matchup there.
Um,
Then you got the Blues and the Blackhawks who have met in the playoffs
oh, they hate each other. They hate
a
each
lot.
other. And
Um,
then you got Wild in Nashville, and I mean, you can't go wrong with those ratings, no matter
no,
what. I
absolutely
mean,
not.
it would be interesting to see what happens out west, though, with if Edmonton jumps Calgary, and
It's a
if
possibility.
somehow the Kings make a push, because it's the Kings. Shit, man, they'll get the second wild card, and then they'll do their magic again.
Win the cup. Yeah. I don't know about this year, but
Really quick though, we're gonna hop it back over down to the east. In the Atlantic, you've got Montreal top dog right now. Ottawa's nipping at their heels at number 2. And then you got Boston. So that matchup would be Ottawa-Boston for 2 and 3. And then Montreal would take on the Rangers, who are the top wild card. And right now, if you look at it, which is really sad, but the Rangers have more points than the 3 teams in the Atlantic. So, and sadly, they get a wild card because the 3 teams in front of the Rangers are even better than everybody else. But can't really fault this. I mean, Ottawa makes the playoffs. I mean, look at this. The year we don't make the playoffs, and right now there's 4 Canadian teams in the playoffs. Like, who in the what is going on? Just is this how Canada gets in? We have to miss. Because look, we got Montreal in, Ottawa in, and then out west you got Oilers, Calgary. What is going on?
well, you still got
Just
Tampa Bay and Toronto that are still not far behind. Toronto's only 1 point back.
But I'm just saying though, just Canadian team wise, man, that's 4. That's 4.
I know, yeah, for sure, yeah, and the possibility for a 5th.
Possibility for a 5th. Yeah, the Maple Leafs are only 1 point behind.
1 point back.
Tampa's technically tied with the Islanders for point wise, but Islanders get the second wild cards because of the ROWs. They have 32 to Tampa's 30. So look out if Tampa could get healthy, maybe even get Stamkos back, who we all saw get hurt against us, and we kind of like poetic justice, but still get Stamkos back healthy. That would be huge. And then Metropolitan, you got Caps and Islanders, which could be Tampa, Maple Leafs. I mean, look at that. What if that Mike Babcock, sneaks in and takes on Ovechkin? I mean, that would be crazy. Austin Matthews, Ovechkin.
Oh, jeez.
Like that, crazy. And then,
Tremendous.
of course, you got Pittsburgh and Columbus. I mean, that's building into a rivalry.
A little bit of a rivalry. It's not that far either from my understanding. Pittsburgh and Columbus.
No,
only about an hour away, right?
An hour away, I believe. Not even.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, I mean, that's turning into a rivalry. I think they have met at least once or twice now in the past playoffs.
I think it's been twice now.
I think it is twice. So it is turning into something there. I mean, that's great for the NHL. I mean, I can't really fault any of these. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Tampa sneaks in or, Maple Leafs sneak in, because the only way those 2 teams are going to sneak in probably will either be wild card, or if, Boston struggles and, maybe Tampa steals the 3rd seed and, the Maple Leafs push the Islanders out and Boston out and they sneak into the wild card. I mean, could you imagine Ottawa, Tampa with all the players and trades that have gone on just between those 2 teams?
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what. Right now, I'm going to say a little bit of a bold statement. I think Boston's a lock. I think they're in. I think for
At
sure.
82 points, they're only 5 up.
Yeah, I know they're only 5 up, but the way they're playing hockey right now, and just the way I'm a hockey fan, so I like to watch hockey in general, and I live in Boston. For all of you guys that don't know, and just as a hockey fan, I like to watch whoever's playing. And I would shy away from the Bruins because they were so boring to watch. I've been watching them, whenever they're on and they're playing an interesting game. They're a pretty fun bunch to watch. They got Pasternak and, they got the crew going there, and Bergeron and Krejci getting they're playing the way they used to play, and they're playing a little bit more fun. They're a much funner team to watch. And for that reason, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're a lock. They've missed the last 2 years. So I think Boston's a lock. And I do think that Toronto gets in as well.
All right. You heard it from Tyler. And remember, Tyler is the conductor of the Stamkos to Detroit train, which will now be converted to the Kevin Chetty Deuce to Detroit
That's
train.
not happening. Please.
So, well, don't worry. Tyler will come out like in June and be like, guess what, guys? We're getting Kevin Shattenkirk. You heard it from me now.
Well, just because Bob McKenzie will get my hopes up, and then there'll
be a Winged Octopus revolution because Tyler's like Shatty Deuce to Detroit train, and I'll be like, I'm gonna blow up that train, blow it up. But anyway, interesting first round matchups. Can't really fault that, honestly. I really can't. I mean, granted, we're not going to be in it, but I mean, can't really argue with those matchups right now. I mean, to me, if we're not in it, I mean, it's not going to kill me. I mean, Tigers will be back. Baseball will be going on. Maybe I'll actually
playoff hockey.
Maybe I'll actually have a life down here in Charlotte. Who knows? But maybe I'll find that special one that probably not. I already found that special one. Her name's Morgan with Captain in front of it. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's just sad to see it go, the year we're done at the Joe, because I mean, that memories were crazy. My last game there, that was crazy. I loved it. I mean,
as was mine.
Yes, it's just
I have videos of mine on my phone. It was I've never seen a place, and I've been in a lot of venues. I've never been in an arena that was in an arena that was so loud and it was shaking and the place was just going absolutely bananas. It was insane. I cannot believe how great that place was.
Yeah, I mean, we came back. We were down, I think 3-2 or 4-2 to the Islanders, and then 3-2. Then we went up 4-3. Then they tied it. Then DeKaiser scores a goal off two different pinball guys. I mean, I was there with Travis and Valerie from the blog and Michael. I mean, that place, oh my God. I mean, we couldn't. I mean, it was. I think I lost my voice that night. It was just so crazy. That pretty much is going to wrap up our first podcast, bringing it back to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't ramble on too much. I hope you didn't believe Tyler and his shoveling inability skills or his Sherry Deuce train comments, which will be coming in about, 2 months, give or take. From everyone here, Tyler, you can shout out your Twitter handle, Twitter handle really quick. But really quick before we do that, please follow us at Winged Octopus on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You can check us out on iTunes, which this will be on there at some point, and Google Play. Yep. Download it. Please give us, your feedback. You hated us. You didn't want to hear us. You want rather hear Val or Michael or Kayla. Or Travis. Well, guess what? I'm the host, so you can suck it. Anyway, we appreciate the comments. Please, give us a hear, listen to us, let us know how we did from bringing it back from the dead, the podcast. And also, please check out our YouTube page and watch our previous shows. We greatly appreciate it. And please, read our articles that when we post them out here and there. So, Tyler, you want to say your final words and goodbyes and your Twitter handle?
Yeah. You guys can follow me at Mass Wings Fan on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram, TCS91, if you really want to see pictures that I take from Red Wings games and what have you. I just want to say, everyone, enjoy March Madness. Be safe. Be safe on St. Patrick's Day weekend there. Also, enjoy the World Baseball Classic that's going on here, and get ready for opening day. That's going to be tremendous, whether you're a Tigers fan or whatever team you support. Like I said, just be safe, everyone.
My Twitter handle is Swedish Mafia 40. Really never got to change it just because the mood of my team was depressing this year. Please be safe this St. Patrick's Day. It is tomorrow, but I know all you'll be drinking on Saturday. Sadly, it's coming to the end. 25 years. It's been great. We were spoiled. Now it's time to go through, the hard times a little bit to get back to, being great again. Enjoy the World Classic Baseball thing Tyler mentioned. If you're into that, enjoy March Madness. Time to make that money. Off them brackets. Baseball's coming up here soon, so I finally get to see Verlander again. I'll be so happy. Besides that, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Be interesting summer down here in Charlotte. I can't wait to see how hot it gets, so I can lose even more weight because
don't forget they're installing the seats at the dojo there, so it's not going to be long before.
And everyone freaked out over not having a cup holder for their beer. Lord Almighty!
No, there is cup holders.
But you should have seen all the people freaking out, thinking, "Oh my God, where are the cup holders?"
Jeez,
Twitter would almost burn down because of these cup holders. But anyway, that's Tyler. I'm Max. This is the podcast. We're coming back at you live. Please give us a listen, and deal with us for the past half hour, 40 minutes that we spieled on to. Apologize, but we're back. Everybody have a good night. Wings are on at 10 o'clock tonight Eastern out in Phoenix. Mrazek is starting. Glendening is out. Mitch Callahan in. Then Saturday they are playing Colorado 1 o'clock Eastern, and then they're back on Monday for another back-to-back. I think Monday Buffalo home, in Montreal Tuesday. So there you go. We'll be back here shortly. So go Wings. Get that better draft pick selection, and everyone have a good night. Stay classy, Hockey Town. We are out.
Have a good night, everybody.